So the question I want to discuss is whether you should have a pay-as-you-go system or a funded system when you have long-term care insurance. And this is of course only if you have a public insurance then. And I'm going to present 4 arguments. The first argument is based on the fairness of the system. Okay, is it fair or not? The second argument is going to be based on whether it's sustainable or not. And the third argument is going to be based on whether it reduces uncertainty. And the fourth argument is what happens to savings and growth of the economy, depending on the system you have. And for all systems, we should discuss whether a funded system is best or a pay-as-you-go system is best. Now, first of all, of course, we have to define the difference between a funded system and a pay-as-you-go system. A funded system, you simply get back whatever you paid into the fund. So your pension will be whatever you pay into the system, and then of course there's interest rate, and you get back a sum depending on that. A pay-as-you-go system, then you pay into the system, but you receive income based on the taxes from the young people in the economy. So basically the young people pay taxes and old people receive their pensions. Okay, so what are the arguments for and against different kind of systems here? Usually economists favor funded systems, but we're going to see there are some arguments on both sides here. First of all, fairness argument. People say that you shouldn't make the young people pay for the old people. That's unfair. And you should get exactly the same amount that you pay into the system. And that's only true in a funded system, they would say. So in an absolute sense, that's true. You get whatever you pay into the system, you'll get it back. So in terms of intergenerational fairness, that sounds like it's fair in an absolute sense, at least. But then some people will say, well, as the economy grows, wouldn't it be fair that old people also participate in that growth and can enjoy a high standard of living when they become old? So if every generation pay a percentage of their income, for example, and transfer that to the old people, then that's fair. And also, when you become even richer, then it's a small sacrifice to pay a little bit more. So if you look at it in a relative sense, some people say this is fair because it's based on a percentage, for example, of your income. So in a relative sense, they would say this is fair. So everybody pays a percentage of their income, for example. Is it sustainable? Well, a funded system is definitely sustainable. It's not going to go bankrupt because you get exactly what you pay in. It's not going to pay more. So this is a definite yes here. Now, a lot of people say that pay-as-you-go is not sustainable because the dependency ratio may change because of demographics. Dependency ratio. So suddenly you can end up in a situation where you have a lot of old people and not very many young people, and then the young people will have to pay a lot in order to support those old people. And that is a problem here. Now, you could reduce the problem, of course, by being less generous with the pensions, and also you could reduce the problem by arguing that when people become richer, it's not that bad to pay more, but it's still, it is a problem for pay-as-you-go system. It needs to be sustainable, and when the demographics change, it could be problems there. Uncertainty. In a funded system, you know exactly how much you're going to get back. That's the argument, which is true, except of course you don't know what the interest rate is going to be, but it is true that you know more about exactly how much you're going to get. Yes. In a pay-as-you-go system, do you know how much you're going to get and how much you have to pay? No. You don't know exactly how much you have to pay because the government could actually change that at some point. So that is a problem, although it is possible to reduce that problem as well, because you could impose rules in the system that reduce the uncertainty about how much you have to pay and how much you're going to get back. So it is possible to reduce it, but it is a bigger problem in a pay-as-you-go system compared to a funded system. Now, for growth, The argument there is that a funded system will actually increase the saving rate, and increasing savings will lead to more investments and higher growth. Now, I'm not going to say yes, it's maybe. It depends. And it depends on what they use the savings for. If you, for example, invest in government bonds, then that's just going to crowd out other things. So it doesn't have to lead to more growth, but it may. It depends on how you invest the money here. Now, pay as you go, it also depends here. You should note though, and this is not just for growth, there is one advantage to pay as you go, which is that you can implement it immediately. The first generation, let's say you say now we're going to establish a pension system, then if you have a funded system, it's going to take 40 years before you can actually start having this. If you have a pay-as-you-go system, then you can implement it right now. The young people have to pay tax, the old people will receive their pensions right away. So there's a first generation advantage in the pay-as-you-go system here. So there are some advantages and disadvantages for both systems, and that's usually what you end up with. You have a mixed system with both things. You could have partially funded and partially pay-as-you-go. And especially, for example, this argument that you have to make the old people, enable them to take part in the increased living standards, and it's more fair to pay a fixed percentage of your salary, for example. Some people put a lot of emphasis on that, but you have to also, of course, think about the sustainability and uncertainty and growth here. So it's up to you. Thanks.